Iran has now told Donald Trump that they are ready for war with America. Iran says America should do their worst. This is coming today, January the 13th, 2026. The Iran foreign minister said America cannot intimidate them, that Iran is not Venezuela, that Iran is not Venezuela, that America should try, that Donald Trump should try, that Donald Trump will understand that all American assets across the Asia, across the Islamic Pacific, across some areas will be brought down, and down. Iran foreign minister said Iran protest is sponsored by America, that America should actually stop funding this protest, else they will see the wrath that Iran is made up of. That Iran maybe is quiet and small, but it is powerful militarily. That whatever America thought they use a sonic in Venezuela to actually make Venezuelan soldiers guiding Maduro to be incapacitated, that they cannot try that thing in Iran. Ladies and gentlemen, some of you may think I'm joking. I'll play this video so you should hear from his own mouth. Iran. Iran. Anyway, they know what they are counting on, because let me be very honest. Iran shocked many in a 6-day war with Israel. Iran actually bombed Israel defense headquarters. Israel defense headquarters was brought down. The reason why America quickly came in to call for a ceasefire is because if that war had continued, Israel, historically, the defense headquarters of Israel, their own Pentagon, was brought down. So Iran could be making this issue. They know where they stand. For sure, Iran has better technology than Venezuela, because Iran has been on the constant fighting of war as compared to Venezuela. Venezuela has not been that constant. Iran has been on the constant fighting of war, using proxies to fight wars. I want you to watch this video.
For a little breaking news.
It is Iran's biggest threat since 1979. Thousands of protesters on the streets, foreign enemies on the prowl, the economy on its knees, and the regime significantly weak. Moments like these can shape our collective history. The question is, which way will it go? Will Iran's regime be toppled by the protesters, or will it survive one more time? Let's look at the ground situation first. The protests began over the country's economic woes, especially the failing currency. Since then, it has expanded into calls for regime change. This is now the third week of demonstrations. Protests have been reported across more than 100 Iranian cities. Thousands rallied over the weekend. Take a look at this. Iran has 31 provinces. All 31 provinces are protesting. The people have attacked public property. They have targeted security officials. Even a mosque in Tehran was set on fire. It tells you how widespread and serious this is. At first, the Iranian government tried to negotiate. They promised to address people's concerns on the economy. But as the unrest grew, the government's attitude changed. It has started calling the protesters rioters and terrorists.
These are not protesters, they are violent agitators. We accept protesters and we acknowledge their concerns. We are making every possible effort to address those concerns. We ask our dear people to stand firmly against those who are violent agitators and who are damaging public property.
The government has unleashed a brutal crackdown, but we do not know the extent of it. Iran shut off its internet on the 8th of January. There is no YouTube, there is no social media, there is no access to information. All we have are assessments and reports, and they vary. Human rights groups say that more than 500 people have been killed so far. That's around 490 protesters plus around 50 security officials. But some reports say that thousands of people may have been killed. Also, more than 10,000 protesters are said to have been arrested. Now, let's put these numbers in context. Iran's last major unrest was in late 2022 and 2023. The crackdown that followed then killed around 550 people. And remember, this happened over several months. This time, we've seen protests for just about 3 weeks. And that's not the only difference this time. For starters, the regime is weaker, the Iranian regime. Iran and Israel fought an intense war in June last year. Israel killed a lot of senior Iranian leaders. They also destroyed Iranian military assets and installations. And the protesters have sensed this. They realize that the regime is not invincible. Secondly, there's an imperialist president in the White House. Donald Trump is watching things closely. He is weighing military options to topple the regime in Iran.
There seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it. And we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination.
So what can Trump realistically do? Most reports mention 3 main options. One option is to deploy the military, basically launch airstrikes at the regime's power centers. But reports also say that the US military is not prepared for that yet. It will take time to plan such an attack. Plus, there is no US aircraft carrier in West Asia. Another option is a cyber attack. The US could target the regime's state-run websites or maybe their banking system or maybe the state media. This would likely add to the chaos. A third option is reportedly Starlink. That's right, Elon Musk's internet service Starlink. Normal internet providers depend on cables or cell towers, but Starlink uses satellites from orbit, meaning Starlink can bypass Iran's internet ban. And Trump says he will speak to Elon Musk about this. Although according to some reports, Musk has already turned on the Starlink satellites. So broadly speaking, these are Trump's 3 options. Needless to say, the military option is the most risky one. Iran has warned Donald Trump against such a move. Their foreign minister says Iran is ready for war if needed.
We do not seek war, but we are fully prepared for it, even more prepared than for the previous war. The reason is clear. The best way to prevent war is to be ready for it, so that our enemies do not once again fall into miscalculation.
Meanwhile, the whole world is watching. Iranians outside the country are thrilled by the unrest. Most of them are dissidents and refugees, so they're cheering the prospect of regime change. Take a look.
Revolution for Iran!
World leaders are also watching closely. Western leaders are expressing support for these protesters. Israel is openly calling for a regime change, but China is opposing it.
We all hope that the Persian nation will soon be freed from the yoke of tyranny. And when that day comes, Israel and Iran will once again be loyal partners in building a future of prosperity and peace for both people.
We have always opposed interference in other countries' internal affairs. consistently advocated that the sovereignty and security of all nations should be fully protected by international law and opposed the use of force or the threat of it in international relations matters.
The biggest problem is information or the lack of it. Yes, there is genuine frustration inside Iran. Yes, there are anti-regime forces. But will that be enough to topple Ayatollah Khamenei? The fact is, without all the information, we do not know. You'll sense a lot of optimism in the Western media, a lot of cheers for regime change. But do remember, the same people also cheered for Iraq and Afghanistan, and we all know how those ended. So my point is, there are more agendas than facts right now. Consider the events of today. The regime asked its supporters to rally on the streets, sort of like a massive counter-protest. And just look at the turnout.
Vous êtes le futur de notre société. Vous êtes les leaders de demain. Vous êtes les innovateurs de la prochaine génération. Nous sommes là pour vous aider à réaliser vos rêves et atteindre vos objectifs. Bacheliers, devenez les architectes de votre avenir avec l'Institut universitaire du Golfe de Guinée de Douala.
Since 1993, the University Institute of the Gulf of Guinea, it is 3 higher schools, ESG, ISTA, ISA,